All righty. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Uh, Patrick, how are you, my friend?
Hey Josh, good to see you. It's been a while.
Too long, too long. And we live in the same city, so that's our fault. There was nobody to blame but us. Um,
Yep.
oh man, something just fell. I don't know. What did I? Never in the movies they hit the desk for dramatic effect, but it doesn't actually work that well. I don't know about you, but I've got too many things that are fragile on my desk. Yeah.
One of my colleague, Seth Juarez, he has a like a small keyboard with a bunch of audio effects. So
Right.
he does this audio effect during the video. I should do something like that.
Oh
That's pretty
yeah. Oh yeah. That'd be great. No, but that would also require a production value that, frankly, my viewers have just not come to expect. They expect the very, very minimum from me, and I deliver the very minimum. And that's I'm not planning on changing that. That would only be disadvantageous to me. Okay, you know, I have I have trained them to not expect even working audio most of the time, and it's not gone well, but at least it's easy. So anyway, I'm really glad you're here, though. That's a step up in the old production value. Can you introduce yourself so people don't,
Oh,
get you
sure.
from?
So, hi everyone. I'm Patrick Chanezon. I manage the developer relations team at Microsoft, and I used to be a Java person, Java developer. I used to work at Sun Microsystems back in the days, and I used to work with Josh, managing the DevRel team for Spring and Cloud Foundry many
Right.
years ago.
Yeah, that was fun. You were my boss's boss. You were my boss was Adam, and you were Adam's boss. That was a good. That was a good. That was 2010, 2011, 2012, something like that.
Yeah, that
Um,
was fun. Yeah. It's been a really good period. I have fond memories of that.
Hello. Yeah, that was a good time. I don't know. I don't know. People don't. You never know how good life is until you get away from it. Like you're in the mix, you're in the moment, and you can look back. And I can look back at that time and go, yeah, that was a lottery ticket. That was a not like a not like in terms of money, in terms of like good life. Good memories. Uh,
Yeah, and super interesting period. It was really when platform as a service was starting to become super fashionable.
I'm a fan. That stuff's gonna be. I think that's even more valuable than ever now. Like my head hurts most of the time, but platform as a service allows me to just think about just a few things. Um, so you're over at Microsoft now, and what do you do over there? You're like the biggest of cheeses. Uh,
Oh, I don't know. It's a big organization. I manage the DevRel team there, where we have a set of developer advocates
yeah,
and we're organized by tech community. So we don't organize ourselves by the internal products at Microsoft. We organize more ourselves by the different tech communities that exist outside. So,
right.
for example, there's a team led by Julien Dubois that who focus on Java developers. So you have people like Brian Benz, Mark
Yeah,
Heckler, Sandra Algrim in there.
yeah.
Uh, but then there's also another team that focuses on .NET developers, another on Python developers, JavaScript. We have some teams that are more focused on AI, data. So it covers the whole set of tech communities, including like a team focusing on IT pros, some on like users of low-code platforms. And so
Yeah.
we advocate on behalf of them, and then we advocate to them. So that's
Right.
one part, the advocacy part. And then there's a team of that manages programs. So
Right.
we manage the MVP program that is pretty famous,
Oh,
the reactor programs. And what our goal is really to help developers achieve more with AI on Microsoft Cloud. So there's lots of AI right now in our lives, whether it's for low-code developers and power users or developers.
what? No PHP, right?
We don't have a team on PHP
That's
now.
right. That's because it's 2025, and that stuff has to stop. So glad. Okay, moving on.
Yeah,
No,
but I mean, we used to have teams focused on Rust and Go, but
those are nice.
yeah, with the resources we have, we're trying to focus on the main languages and
So,
yeah.
well, I mean, Go is yeah, that's a big community. I don't know. I get it. There's a few really big ones and all that stuff, but and there's probably more PHP than Java. But who cares? Just say no. It's like bad for the diet. Anyway, no.
I like PHP, but it's just a matter of prioritization.
Yeah. Oh, wait, we got some nice messages here. Hello, Josh.
Oh yeah,
hello.
let me join the chat and log in.
Oh yeah. Did I? Yeah. Anyway, hello, Kunal. Nice to see you, Daniel Sugoi.
Hi Kunal, Daniel, and Sugoi.
You do? Oh, you do see them. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh well,
yeah, I do see them, and I'm connected in the chat.
Are you in the StreamYard or are you in the YouTube?
StreamYard.
Okay, yeah, there should be a chat there. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so you're working on top of all that. That's you mentioned a lot of people. I think I've had all those people on the show. You've been on this show before, but I don't think you were on the video. Yeah, I think we just established that before the stream. So it's good to see you again. And the reason I wanted to talk to you is because we just both of us. I was, tiny, infinitesimally small part of this amazing event called JDConf that Microsoft throws every year, and that was great. That was a lot of thanks for having me. First of all, really,
I mean, thanks for coming, Josh. You were one of the star of that show. I really liked your performance there.
Oh, thank you. That was fun. And I don't know. I was part of the keynote too. There was a little. You don't need a lot of time to show Spring. That's the only thing that's why I'm so happy when they're like, oh, we want you to do a part of the keynote. I'm like, well, how much? And I don't know how much it was, but it was like, whatever, 3 minutes or something. I'm like, yeah, okay, that'll be enough, But that was good. That was a lot of fun. And the reason I felt so excited to be there is because I just knew they couldn't tell me everything. Oh, look at that. We had at least one person representing both manifestations. No, the reason I knew it was going to be dope is because, AI, right? I knew some of the AI stuff is permeating everything y'all are doing. And boy, was I right. There was some stuff you talked about there, and then also stuff in the news recently. Can you talk to any of that? Like, it's just everywhere. MCP, AI, Visual Studio Code, GitHub. You guys you're shipping too much. I can't keep up.
It's it definitely one of the things I realized in the past few months is that the pace has accelerated a lot. The pace at Microsoft and in the industry, there was Google Cloud Next conference last week. They announced a few really interesting things there.
Really good. Yeah. You were at Google before.
Yeah. I used to be at Google before, and one of the things that interested me there is their agent-to-agent protocol.
A2A. That's really cool.
And then on our side, on the Microsoft side, like all the teams are shipping super fast right now. And so even in my team, we have a hard time like keeping up with all the news and trying to share what we learn with all developers to show them how they can leverage all these new AI tools to build apps faster.
By the time you get the tutorial out, it's already irrelevant. There's something better. It's very frustrating. I know all the people that you mentioned in the Java team, and they're all super smart. I'm sure that's true for the rest of the people too. If people like them and like you are having trouble keeping up, then it's impossible.
That's what is interesting in our DevRel jobs, is that we get to play with all the toys and learn everything and then share with everyone. And right now, it's a really fun job. So I'd say the few things that really caught my attention recently, a lot of progress on VS Code. So I don't know if so, but agent mode in VS Code was released for everyone. And this is my favorite feature in there. You can really have an agent next to you that's coding with you, and you can interact with it.
Okay. Does it do like multi-step? Can I like tell it, hey, I want to build a full-on web app? I need a back end in Spring and a front end in Svelte or Angular or whatever.
Yeah, it's going to interact with you. So you can explain what you wanted to build. It's going to ask you a few questions, and it's multi-model, so you can pick your model. Personally, I'm using Claude 3.7 in there, but there are many models available in there, and so you can pick and choose.
I heard Gemini.
Models are evolving constantly. It's super good to be able to take the latest hotness and add that in there.
Yeah.
So it builds your app with you, And the new thing that came out, I think it was like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. I don't remember exactly.
Or does it come out tomorrow? Don't tell us if it comes out tomorrow.
Life is a blur, but it's my favorite feature. Is now they implemented the MCP client side of it.
Yes.
So VS Code is now an MCP client, Model Context Protocol. So for those of you who haven't played with that yet, Model Context Protocol is a protocol that Anthropic created 3 months ago.
No, November. It just feels like 3 months because it's too fast, but it was already 6 months almost, November.
Oh, 6 months. Okay, so 6 months ago they created that.
Too fast.
And nowadays it's exploding. And what MCP lets you do is that it lets you expose tools and data to a model. And now, because GitHub Copilot in agent mode is a MCP client, it means that in addition to just like using the model's knowledge of coding to create your app, it can also call tools through the MCP protocol. And so on my side, I'm using, there's one for GitHub itself, so it can interact with GitHub, send pull requests, read issues. There's one for Perplexity, where it can do a web search and search things around. My favorite one is the Azure one. There's one for Azure. So I can ask it, hey, how would I deploy that to Azure? And then it's going to use the tool to actually run the AZ command line and do a bunch of things with Azure. It can determine what's in your subscription, deploy stuff, create resource groups, and all the stuff that you would need. So there's all that's available through MCP protocol, and you can just pick and choose. There's a bunch of MCP servers that people have been creating. My favorites, I'd say GitHub, Azure. There's one for Playwright that's really cool.
Right.
And recently, I think the one where you commented on my blog, on my post on LinkedIn, that really blew my mind is the Docker team created one in Docker Desktop called Gordon. That's an MCP server, so I was able to add that to VS Code as a tool, and now VS Code agent mode can talk to Gordon, the agent, and they can have a conversation together about what's happening in the logs of the container where I deploy my app. I found that like staggering. It's mind-boggling.
It's Star Trek. It's like, computer, deploy me a new app. Like, okay, and you can do text to voice. You can do voice to text. Put that in the chat box, and then it'll just be, you're just speaking human language to the model, which in turn can invoke your MCP stuff. Oh, it's so good. Have you been looking? I mean, I saw a directory of directories. So there's there are thousands of services out there, right? So you can find thousands of different websites that are aggregators, but then somebody I saw the other day built a directory of the other directories of MCP services.
It's crazy. Yeah, we're really in that explosion phase where lots of people are experimenting, creating MCP servers. I'd say there's two issues that I see with that. One of them is the one that you mentioned, which is discovery, which is how do I discover the MCP servers that are going to be useful to me? And I hope that actually agents can do that for me. I'd actually like for GitHub Copilot agent to determine by itself what it needs to help me.
Are you saying we need an MCP server to list MCP servers?
An MCP server, an MCP server agent that would actually know about all these registries, and that GitHub Copilot agent could talk to say, hey, I'm trying to do this type of stuff. Which MCP server should I be using?
And then download it,
install it.
Yeah.
And then which actually brings me to the second issue, which is all this stuff is not super secure. And some of it, you're running it on your machine. It's open source. You haven't audited the code and all that. There's a big security issue right now. So I'd say be cautious in the MCP servers that you install on your own machine. Be cautious on the one that you're calling over HTTP, because it can send some context over there. So
Oh yeah,
there's a whole security problematic that needs to be sorted out in there
big
for this
time.
service. Yeah.
It they just did a pull request in the last week to the spec to because they had a pull request a few weeks ago saying, or like a month ago saying every single MCP service should be an OAuth identity provider, which is insane, right? Like that would be like Active Directory. Each MCP service has to have a full OAuth IDP inside of it to validate and to vend tokens. And the community like pushed back, and then I think in the last week, or maybe it was last week, they changed it so that each MCP server is now a resource server, and that's much more reasonable. Like that's actually something. So you can actually use something like Active Directory or Keycloak or Okta or the Spring Auth server
Yeah.
to lock it down. But yeah, I think the security thing is they're definitely working on that because it's not real until that's true. You mentioned the reason. One thing I'm not sure people appreciate is that there's two flavors of MCP. There's standard IO on the same host on your local machine, which is, if you trust the code, then you don't really need OAuth, right? It's just it's on your same machine. There's no other service involved. If it has access to your machine, it has access to everything in effect. But then there's the HTTP one, which is like you mentioned, that one requires some security. You need some sort of federated network identity, right? So
Yeah, but even for the local ones that you're running on your machine,
you got to be careful what it does. That's different, though. Right?
It's like anything that you install where you install a package. Imagine like someone ships, like I'm working at Microsoft. On my machine, there's a bunch of like super secure data.
Right.
I'm not going to run like any open source component that hasn't been validated some way to tell me that this is okay to. So hopefully in my team we're okay because we're doing a lot of sample code and all that, and not necessarily the internal code from Microsoft. But still, it's something that if it's something that's running locally, you should be careful about what you're exposing it to. Running it in Docker actually can be
really
an
good idea.
intermediary solution that at least isolates it from the rest of your machine. But still, the agent is going to give it a bunch of context that's coming from your machine. So
yeah, and from the request. Yeah, there's definitely issues. You're 100% right, and I think they're working on that. The secondary one, the discovery, is there. I haven't seen as much. I mean, just a bunch of homegrown solutions. Do you remember the UDDI?
Yeah, actually, I made a joke with my team about that. Where it reminded me of this.
I was like, we just need to invent WS Star again. We're back,
I mean, SOAP, WSDL, UDDI. We're back at it again.
Well, that's the thing about WSDL. There's no schema. That's what's so great about this. Your type system is your schema, and your human language text. Like your mom always told you to use your words when you're angry. It's going to be very useful here because the schema is the human language description of the thing that you're exporting, which is so good. Okay. So you have so we have like a Spring Batch MCP service that one of the Spring Batch lead just created. And right now it's read only, so you can ask it questions about the current state of batch jobs and all that kind of stuff, right? And I'm like, well, that's really good, but I wouldn't mind also like, can you deploy a job for me? Can you run this job? Like it doesn't do that yet. And so when you say I can, are you able to ask GitHub questions and then the client?
Yeah. So GitHub, the MCP server that they shipped, if I remember, I don't remember exactly, but I think it's using a personal access token that you need to create to give it some. And so when you create that, you give it some scope about what it can do. I think it can. Let me check because I have it open in there.
Well, because there's like I'm imagining two different scenarios. One is I have Visual Studio Code and it can make changes to GitHub because I've already empowered it with a GitHub plugin or something. And then
that's a different story. Here, it's really because there's a in Visual Studio Code. There's a GitHub plugin in there that lets you interact with GitHub and all that.
What I'm saying is the MCP stuff giving the Visual Studio Code plugin a command to run, and then it's running on the local thing, or is the MCP thing running the command?
No, it's it that's running the command, and it's a separate code base actually from Visual Studio Code. It's really the MCP server. Actually, on my side, this MCP server, I'm running it in Docker, in Docker local. And so and I'll show you later how that works.
Oh yeah, after this stream, after this
Yeah.
podcasty stream, you and I are going to do a little hacking on some
Yeah.
code for people who want to stick around. We're going to end the stream in a little bit here, and then switch over to like an actual proper demo.
But then when I take a look at GitHub Copilot chat, okay, so that's in there. That's the Playwright one. Oh, GitHub. Add issue comment, create branch, create issue, create or update file. These are some of the actions that it can take. Fork repository. You can fork a repository programmatically. List commits, list issues. So there's a bunch of lists, search, and update. You can update an issue as well.
Can I commit code? I mean, there must be a way.
Let me see. Create branch, create issue. Create issue. I don't see list commits. You can list the commits.
Well, that's actually, I think I prefer that actually. I think I like having automation around everything except for the Git code itself, you know?
No, actually, you have push files. Push multiple files to GitHub repo in a single commit. Yeah.
Oh, the power. Well,
there you
okay.
go.
Yeah, but so you'd have to. I would definitely start off slow and simple. Get the most minimal pat, not you, personal access token.
But what is interesting here is that these actions that I listed here,
yeah,
I'm not necessarily going to do that myself. Now the GitHub Copilot agent is able to use these tools on my behalf. So in the way it works in the UI, typically what it does is that it says, hey, I'm going to use these tools. Do you want to do this action? And then you click OK, go for it, and then it will just do it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's so powerful right now. Yeah. And I still think there's a room for humans worth mentioning, because you need to validate this stuff. Somebody needs to make sure. Yeah.
I mean, for sure. So my take on this is that all these tools, they're evolving very fast, but they're still pretty crude. There's lots of things that they don't know how to do. And you want to have a human in the loop. That's why we call our product Copilot. It's really your Copilot. But I think with agents, we're getting more and more help as developers, and actually in the rest of our working lives, like we're selling like other type of agents at Microsoft.
Yeah.
And frankly, I can see a future where all of us will become managers. We're going to manage a set of agents. Some of them are going to do some of our business processes. Some of them are going to help us in different aspects of coding, and we're all going to be much more productive because of that.
I'm waiting for the MCP service that'll file expense reports. Once that happens,
okay. So I thought about you 2 days ago.
Oh no!
Because I was trying to build. We recently released. Something that's called a computer user agent computer use agent. So that's an agent that can use a computer, launch a browser, and go do something on your behalf.
Oh, okay, like opening up Word and Chrome and whatever. Okay,
exactly. And we released that as part of, so it's available in AI Studio, AI Foundry, which is our pro developer offering, but it's also available, it was announced, I think, 2 days ago, in Copilot Studio, which is our low-code offering. And I wanted to try that out to do an example of expense report and automate that.
Yes.
Exactly the use case you were talking about. And it's not available in our internal tenant yet, so I wasn't able to do that. But that was my first example, and I literally thought about you on this one, because I know it was one of your pet peeves at VMware when we were working together.
And Pivotal, and then VMware again, and now Broadcom. It's the same, and it's changed, by the way. Every single other year, it seems like it changes and it gets different. It's painful in equal ways, but different ways. So at least it's exciting like that. I saw a thing last year. Excuse me. I saw a tweet or a skeet or a LinkedIn post, something like that. I don't know. Somebody said AI is something like I didn't want AI to take the art and creativity out of life and leave me with the chores and the dishes. Right? I wanted AI to do the chores and the dishes and then let me create art and make music and all, and once I have an MCP server that can do my expense reports, I feel like it's fair. Okay, if the MCP, if the AI wants to draw for me, as long as they're doing some work too, they have to earn their keep. You can't take all the fun out of life,
Yeah, exactly. And the way I see it, I think AI agents are going to take more and more of the chores in our working lives. But they're also pretty good sparring partner and thought partner to help you be more creative.
Rubber duck.
Yeah. They can give you ideas. So I use M365 Copilot pretty often to have conversations about our plans and get me some ideas about things. And I think with GitHub Copilot in agent mode, you can do that as well. It's really, you can use it as a thought partner to evaluate different options, to make you think about things you hadn't thought about. AI machines are very good at looking at a big set of options.
Oh yeah, it's the mind map, right? It gives me. By the way, do you? I don't know if this is. I mean, are they? You're still like partners, right? I don't know. Have you tried the? ChatGPT has the memory now.
Yeah.
So there's this prompt that's gone viral. People are saying you should ask it. Now that it knows about everything I've ever asked it.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Give me an analysis of my weaknesses.
Oh, that's good. I haven't tried that.
It's mind-blowing, actually, how good that is. Yeah, super insightful. And again, just like you said, it's able to see the big picture that maybe you can't see, you and I can't see.
That's a really good one. I'll try it out, actually. The viral prompt I tried recently was a bit more fun. It was a prompt for GitHub M365 Copilot, because the Microsoft Copilot, when you're using it in your company, it has access to all your documents and all your team.
Goodness, that's cool.
And so there was one prompt that went pretty viral across Microsoft that was about, hey, looking at my team, like, who am I as a Star Wars character? And who are like a few of the people in my team that I interact with a lot?
Wait, I love that. Let me see.
I was super glad that it classified me as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that made me super happy.
I'm asking. By the way, have you tried the rendering of yourself as a cartoon character thing?
I haven't tried yet. Yeah, the anime style drawing.
Yeah. Okay, wait. I'm gonna show my screen here. Present, share screen, entire screen, sharing. Okay, can you see that?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so you have a bit of Jan Solo in you for sure. Yeah, I can see that.
That's the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me. And it would be a machine. Why wouldn't it? I would just want a real person to say that to me. Okay, let's see. So where's my stop sharing? There you go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Those are the two nicest things ever. I'm gonna put that on my resume. Just delete my LinkedIn profile. The AI thinks I'm cool. Okay, hire me. Yeah. Don't hire me. I'm fine. I have a job. Just say one day.
And you're pretty good at it.
Yeah. Well, it didn't say anything about good. I mean, Han Solo gets in trouble a lot. And I'll bet Han Solo doesn't file expense reports either. That's why Chewie's always doing it. I'll bet. It's very hard to manipulate a mouse with those big furry hands. Anyway, okay, so big stuff, right? AI everywhere. It's in the water, right? Like it's in the air, it's in the water we breathe. Air we breathe, the water we drink. MCP for manipulating Azure resource groups, right? I can actually just go in there and deploy stuff.
You're in GitHub Copilot. You can say at Azure, what should I do to deploy this app on Azure? Or the agent can itself, you can ask it, hey, please make sure that the deployment plan for Azure, and it's going to use the Azure MCP server to just do the deployment and prep things.
So if I give it an app, will it tell me, okay, I need to add this file and you can deploy it here?
Yeah, so that's so you're going to iterate on it with it, and you could ask it to maybe do some Terraform deployment for it, or using Bicep. So you can ask it for different choices. And you know our friend Adam Fitzgerald.
Of course.
He's at HashiCorp now, and
Yeah.
I see him regularly because we have a partnership between Microsoft and HashiCorp.
Right.
And, I definitely want to see whether they're going to have a Terraform MCP server.
That'd be
help a lot.
Oh, well, that and also Vault for me, that would be super interesting as well. Like, rotate my passwords, please. Done. You know, like, or I need to create a new user with the following username and whatever. Like, just do it for me. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, yeah, they've got all the really MCP-able stuff. They're Vault, Terraform.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of things that you can imagine implementing as MCP servers. Now, something I found really interesting last week was the release of that.
Nomad.
Yeah.
Sorry, Packer, Nomad, and what was the other one? Sorry, I just Packer, Nomad, Waypoint, Vault, Console, all this Terraform, all that stuff would be super good. Okay, now, sorry, go on.
No, the other thing I found interesting recently was the A2A protocol that Google released. And that's been implemented by the Microsoft team that's doing semantic kernel, which is our framework for building agents.
Right.
I think it's been released yesterday. I just checked out the GitHub repo this morning to try it out, and I was messing with it before calling you.
Okay, that's cool. This is something I want to look at. You know, that stuff is really
so that's
cool.
a complementary protocol to MCP. So in MCP, it's really your model driving things and calling to MCP to get tooling and get context and get data.
Right.
With the A2A protocol is more a bidirectional protocol for agents to collaborate together.
Right.
And I think it's very promising. It has a notion of an agent card where you can get a JSON document that describes the capabilities of your agent.
Right.
And I think it opens up the potential for an agent marketplace. And I could see very much, you were talking about UDDI before. I can see totally a very close future where we're all like buying or renting agent capacity or from different marketplaces for a certain price. And so I don't know, there's still a bunch of stuff that need to be determined to make that vision work. But I think we're going towards something like that, where we're going to have this set of, or companies are going to be organized with humans working together with agents. And there will be like kind of agents around us and collaborating with us for everything that we do.
Which I would love. I mean, this is the thing is, do you remember Lotus Notes?
Oh, I was a Lotus Notes expert at the beginning of my career.
Wow.
I developed, I had an admin certification, and I developed a bunch of apps for what was Accenture back then.
So cool.
Consulting, yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, so you do know Lotus Notes, okay? And then there's Domino, and there's this workware, right? The software that was meant to allow people to work together. And
Notes was an amazing architecture. Yes. It was based on replication. It was really well.
Couchbase. I mean, CouchDB, the same guy, Katz, worked on that. I mean, super interesting thing. And I think about it a lot because, you know, nowadays you have Office 365. You have a lot of this kind of stuff, SharePoint, all that. You know, it kind of reminds me of what that was doing 30 years ago. You know?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. SharePoint is definitely the kind of spiritual inheritor of the Notes franchise, and SharePoint and Power Platform, I would say, because Notes was very much a low-code type of offering where you could code in there, but you could build an app without being an expert.
Right. And it did
that's
everything.
one of the reason it was so successful, I think.
And it was your email, it was your chat, it was context and bulletin boards. It was just amazing. And I think about that a lot. Like this idea of having this immersive mesh of like capabilities. The problem with Lotus Notes, I mean, there was a few, obviously it's gone for a reason, but the thing I think was different about it was that even though smart people like yourself were able to contribute to it, it was still very much Lotus Notes plus some extra stuff that Patrick wrote, right? As opposed to this sort of thing that belonged to everybody and everybody could extend. It's not the platform that, I mean, even Steve Ballmer, right? And Bill Gates, they understood people don't use Windows for Windows. They use Windows for all the stuff that's on top of it. You got to make it extensible. You got to make it open.
I completely agree. And actually, last week or 10 days ago, Microsoft celebrated its 50th birthday.
I did see that. Yeah, that's congratulations.
And look at the Satya talk in there when he's talking about the company. The main thing that sticks out for me is that Microsoft is really a platform company. Microsoft builds stuff for people to build things on top. And very much has that mentality of a platform builder. We're building tools for people to build their own things.
Yeah, and it shows. I mean, you can, if you make the platform open, people will build, and we've seen that. But it's still okay. So, like for example, what I'm saying is I want each organization to, in an open source way, be able to install like Linux for AI, and I think something like A2A plus MCP plus Spring, obviously, would be really, really good fit, right? Like that's a really nice, interesting story. And then, of course, below that, you've got deployment primitives like Kubernetes or Docker or whatever.
And PyTorch and like all the frameworks that people are using to build the models themselves. Yeah,
exactly. So that's, I don't know. We'll talk. We should have this conversation again in a year and see what that looks like. Speaking of conversations that I would never have thought would happen, did you see that really lovely, like 30 or 50-minute discussion with Linus Torvalds at GitHub a couple days ago?
When was that?
Like 2 days ago. It's the 20th anniversary of Git. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 20 years. 20 years of Git already. And it's, it's like 99% of the world's using it. So here's Microsoft and Linus Torvalds in the same place. The world is so different now in some ways.
Oh, for sure. I mean, just there's I don't remember what the percentage of VMs that run Linux in Azure.
I remember. Wait. When you told me this, 2013, it was like 60%, right? That was
exactly. Yeah. So I don't know where we're at today, but it's a big chunk of it. And then like seeing you at GDConf, like having Microsoft organize a Java conference, like to me that was such a pleasure.
Wonderful world. Okay, so let's wind down here. Where should people go to learn? I mean, what else should we have talked about if we had more time? What should we have talked about? What did I miss? We got the stuff, GitHub.
I mean, GitHub Copilot in VS Code, like play with that, plays with agent mode, and then take a look at AI Foundry. And we have a GitHub organization for AI Foundry where we're going to put all our samples. So just go in there, and this is where people are learning about AI. And you go github.com/AI Foundry, and you'll find it.
Wow.
And it's called AI Foundry. Doesn't it remind you of something, Josh?
It does. Cloud Foundry. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very exciting. Okay, and you are Patrick Chanezon, my friend. You are on the internet, I guess. Do you want to be found?
I'm on LinkedIn mainly.
LinkedIn. So what is that? LinkedIn.
/Chanezon.
Just Chanezon. Oh yeah, there you are.
Yeah.
Putting that in the old chat there.
LinkedIn /A/Chanezon, I think, or something like that.
I put it on the screen there. It's linkedin.com in Chanezon.
Oh yeah, great.
Okay, everybody, we're gonna hang up here, and then we're gonna start another stream in just a minute. I just want a clean cut for the podcast. So thanks for hanging out. Join us in a minute or two, and we're gonna maybe try and write some code. I don't know how far we'll get. It might be a catastrophe. Okay, we have done zero prep, and I have not had sleep, not nearly enough. So whatever. Okay, see you in a bit. Bye.
Okay. Bye.